He never expected to meet her that day. Daniel Carter had grown up surrounded by privilege, private schools, polished manners, and expectations that stretched far beyond personal happiness. His father owned a powerful financial firm in the heart of the city, and Daniel was already being shaped into the next heir of the empire. His life had direction, structure, and certainty, yet it felt strangely hollow. Everything changed on a quiet autumn afternoon at the university library. He noticed her before he realized why. Sophia Bennett sat alone by the window, sunlight tracing soft gold across her hair as she scribbled notes in a worn notebook. There was nothing extravagant about her. Simple clothes, focused eyes, an air of determination, yet she carried something Daniel rarely saw among his peers: authenticity. She wasn't trying to impress anyone. She was simply being herself. When their books collided at the checkout desk, the moment felt almost scripted. They both reached for the same title, a dense economics volume, and exchanged an awkward smile. "Sorry," Daniel said. She shook her head gently. "You take it. I've been waiting all week. Another day won't hurt." That small kindness stayed with him long after she left. Over the next weeks, chance turned into routine. They began studying together, sharing coffee, exchanging thoughts about life beyond textbooks. Daniel discovered her ambitions, working nights to pay tuition, supporting her mother, building a future piece by fragile piece. Sophia discovered his guarded uncertainty, the quiet pressure he carried beneath his confidence. Their worlds were different, radically different, yet something between them felt effortless. One evening, as city lights shimmered below the campus hill, Daniel confessed something he had never spoken aloud. "I don't know if I'm living my life or someone else's plan for me." Sophia looked at him, thoughtful. "Then maybe," she said softly, "you should figure out which one makes you feel alive." That night marked the beginning, not of a perfect romance, but of something real, something complicated, something worth risking everything for. And neither of them yet understood just how much would soon be at stake. Their friendship unfolded quietly at first, like a melody that grows stronger before anyone notices it has begun. Daniel started rearranging his schedule without realizing it, studying later, lingering longer on campus, volunteering to walk Sophia to the bus stop even when the night air turned sharp with cold. With her, conversations felt lighter, and silence never demanded explanation. It was simply shared. Sophia, however, remained careful. She had learned not to trust comfort too easily. Life had taught her that stability could vanish overnight, and she guarded her emotions with quiet discipline. Yet Daniel's sincerity, the way he listened, the way he remembered small details, slowly softened her distance. One evening, rain fell steadily against the cafe windows where they studied. The world outside blurred into streaks of silver light, and inside, warm lamps cast a gentle glow. Daniel closed his notebook. "Can I ask you something?" he said. She nodded. "Why do you push yourself so hard?" Sophia hesitated before answering. "Because no one else is going to build my future for me," she replied calmly. "And I want a life where I choose my direction, not one where I wait for permission." Her words stayed with him long after they parted that night. The turning point came weeks later at a formal event hosted by Daniel's family company. He invited Sophia impulsively, almost recklessly, wanting to share a glimpse of his world. She arrived in a modest dress, elegant but understated, and immediately she felt out of place. Crystal chandeliers sparkled overhead. Conversations flowed in polished tones about investments, acquisitions, and influence. Eyes lingered on her just long enough to signal curiosity or judgment. Daniel's father noticed her within minutes. His greeting was polite but distant. Later, his message was unmistakable. "You're losing focus," he told Daniel privately. "Connections matter. Appearances matter. You cannot afford distractions." Daniel felt anger rise, unfamiliar, sharp. "She's not a distraction." His father's expression hardened. "You'll understand someday." After that night, tension crept between Daniel and Sophia. She sensed the weight of his world pressing in. "You don't have to fight battles because of me," she told him during a quiet walk. He stopped. "It's not because of you," he said. "It's because I'm realizing what I actually care about." For the first time, neither looked away. The space between them carried something deeper than friendship now. Something unspoken yet undeniable. Daniel reached for her hand. She didn't pull away. Their relationship blossomed, not through grand gestures, but through shared moments, laughter over cheap takeout, late-night debates, studying side by side until exhaustion blurred their focus. And then one night, beneath a sky scattered with distant stars, Daniel kissed her. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't perfect. It was honest. Sophia felt both warmth and fear, knowing this connection could reshape everything she had carefully built. But she didn't step back. Because, for the first time in years, she allowed herself to hope. For a while, happiness felt effortless. Daniel and Sophia moved through their days wrapped in a quiet certainty that they had found something rare. They didn't need extravagance, only presence. A shared meal after exhausting lectures, a message sent late at night, the comfort of knowing someone truly understood them. But reality does not remain silent forever. It arrived gradually, first as expectation, then as pressure. Daniel's father began assigning him greater responsibilities at the company. Meetings replaced free afternoons. Networking events replaced casual evenings. The unspoken message became clear. Daniel's future was already planned, and deviation was not welcome. At first, he tried to balance both worlds, yet balance proved fragile. Missed calls turned into canceled plans. Short conversations replaced long walks. Sophia noticed, even when Daniel insisted everything was fine. One evening, after waiting alone at a cafe table for nearly an hour, she finally understood. This wasn't about time, it was about priorities. When he arrived, apologetic and exhausted, she met him calmly. "You don't have to prove anything to me," she said, "but you do need to be honest with yourself." Daniel ran a hand through his hair, frustration evident. "I'm trying to hold everything together. And are you succeeding?" He didn't answer, because he already knew. The confrontation came sooner than either expected. Daniel's father arranged a professional partnership dinner, introducing Daniel to the daughter of a major investor. Intelligent, accomplished, and socially ideal, she represented everything expected of him. Daniel felt trapped in a narrative written long before he had a choice. That night, he visited Sophia. His silence spoke volumes before words could. She listened quietly as he explained. When he finished, the room felt heavier. "So this is what your world looks like," she said softly. "It's not what I want, but it's what surrounds you." He stepped closer. "I choose you." Sophia's expression trembled between hope and realism. "Choosing me isn't a sentence you say once," she replied. "It's something you prove, again and again." Weeks later, opportunity struck Sophia, a prestigious internship in another city, a chance she had worked toward for years. She hadn't planned to tell Daniel right away, but secrets don't belong in real love. When she shared the news, pride and fear filled the space between them. "You have to take it," Daniel said immediately. She studied him. "And us?" Daniel hesitated, just long enough. That hesitation carried meaning neither wanted to acknowledge. Sophia accepted the position. Their farewell at the train station was gentle but heavy, a promise to stay connected, to endure distance, to believe in something stronger than circumstance. As the train doors closed, Daniel felt a realization settle deep within him. Love alone was powerful, but life would demand sacrifice to protect it, and neither of them yet knew what they would be willing to give. Distance has a strange way of revealing truths that proximity can hide. At first, Daniel and Sophia maintained their connection with determination. Messages arrived every morning. Calls stretched late into the night. They shared small details, what they ate, what they learned, what they feared losing. Yet time zones and obligations slowly reshaped the rhythm of their communication. Sophia immersed herself in her internship, navigating unfamiliar streets and proving her worth in rooms where she was expected to fail. Each challenge strengthened her independence. Each success reminded her of the future she was building with her own hands. Daniel, meanwhile, found himself pulled deeper into corporate responsibility. His father trusted him with critical decisions, expecting loyalty not only to the business, but to the legacy attached to it. He began to realize something unsettling. He could succeed in the world prepared for him and still feel incomplete. Weeks turned into months. Their conversations became shorter, not from lack of care, but from exhaustion. Sometimes Sophia fell asleep before replying. Sometimes Daniel stared at his phone after midnight, unsure how to explain the conflict inside him. Neither blamed the other, yet both felt the strain. One evening, during a rare, uninterrupted call, Sophia spoke carefully. "We're changing," she said. Daniel nodded slowly. "That's not necessarily bad." "No," she agreed. "But change forces decisions." Silence lingered. "What are you afraid of?" he asked. She inhaled. "That we might become people who love each other, but no longer fit into each other's lives." Her honesty hurt, because it echoed his own thoughts. Not long after, Daniel's father presented him with a defining opportunity, a permanent leadership role that required full commitment and relocation abroad. It was everything he had been prepared for, everything expected, everything logical. Daniel spent nights awake, replaying memories of Sophia, laughter in quiet cafes, shared dreams beneath city lights, promises whispered at a train station. Finally, he called her. She listened, truly listened. When he finished, she responded with gentle steadiness. "You don't need my permission to follow your path." "This isn't about permission," he said. "It's about us." Sophia's voice softened. "Then answer one question honestly. If you turned this down, would you regret it?" Daniel closed his eyes. "Yes, and if you accepted it?" He swallowed. "I'm afraid of losing you." Her reply came after a long pause. Love shouldn't require someone to shrink their future. They didn't end things that night. They didn't promise impossible solutions. Instead, they chose honesty, acknowledging uncertainty without abandoning care. For the first time, Daniel understood that love was not possession, and Sophia understood that connection was not defined solely by proximity. They stepped forward separately, both carrying the imprint of what they had shared. And though neither knew what awaited them beyond the horizon, their story was not finished yet, because some relationships do not end. They evolve, waiting for the moment life allows paths to cross again. Time moved forward, as it always does, quietly, persistently, carrying Daniel and Sophia into lives shaped by their own decisions. Daniel accepted the position. The work demanded everything: focus, resilience, adaptability. He traveled across cities and countries, negotiated with people who measured success in numbers and influence, and gradually became the leader he had once doubted he could be. Yet success did not erase memory. Certain moments still belonged to Sophia. A song overheard in a cafe, the glow of evening lights over a skyline, the echo of conversations that had once helped him understand himself. She had not simply been part of his past. She had shaped his becoming. Sophia, meanwhile, flourished in her own world. The internship opened doors she had once believed unreachable. She built a career step by step, guided not by comfort but by purpose. Her independence strengthened, her confidence deepened, and she learned to stand firmly in spaces that once intimidated her. But growth did not replace feeling. Sometimes, during quiet evenings, she remembered the young man who had looked at her as though her dreams mattered, because they did, and she carried that affirmation forward. Years later, their paths crossed again, not through fate's grand spectacle, but through something simpler: a professional conference, a shared panel, a familiar voice in an unfamiliar room. Daniel recognized her instantly. Sophia felt it before she saw him. Time had changed them. Maturity in their posture, assurance in their presence, yet recognition bridged the distance without effort. Their conversation began formally, then softened, then deepened. They spoke of careers, journeys, lessons learned, and eventually of what they had once been to each other. There was no regret in their words, only gratitude. "You helped me find courage," Daniel admitted. Sophia smiled. "And you showed me I deserved to dream bigger." That evening, walking through illuminated streets after the conference ended, they confronted a question neither had expected to revisit. What were they now? The answer did not arrive dramatically. It unfolded gently. They were no longer the same two students shaped by uncertainty. They were individuals with lives, direction, and understanding. And this time, connection did not conflict with identity. It complemented it. Daniel reached for her hand again, just as he had years before. Sophia held it, not out of nostalgia, but because the present felt right. Looking back, I realize our story was never about choosing love over ambition or ambition over love. It was about growth, about learning that real connection does not cage you. It strengthens you to face the world more fully. We didn't remain unchanged. We didn't follow a perfect path. But we found our way back to each other not as unfinished versions of ourselves, but as people complete enough to walk side by side. And that, I believe, is what makes love endure. Not circumstance, not timing, not perfection, but the willingness to grow and to meet again when life has shaped you into who you were meant to become.